and welcome back to the next chapter of the Magic Faraway Tree. If you haven't been following story so far, please do watch the previous videos that I had uploaded. I have read quite a few chapters so far. Today we are going to be reading chapter 9, The Land of Dreams. And if you want to catch up on the story so far, please do watch the rest of my videos on the Magic Faraway Tree. A reminder again that I am a dyslexic reader. I don't read that often, and reading does make me quite tired sometimes. Do make a lot of mistakes and read things back to front. So if I do make mistakes, please do bear that in mind. So let's get started with the Land of Dreams. Last time we read how would they escape. The friends got trapped in a tower, and if you want to know how they escaped and how they ended up in a tower, please do watch that video. But for now, we'll be reading The Land of Dreams. Okay. The children had had enough of adventure for some time. Their mother set them to work in the garden, and they did their best for her. Nobody suggested going to the enchanted woods at all. I hope Moonface, Silky and Saucepan Man had got to the tree safely, said Joe one day. Moonface was wondering the same thing by the children. He and Silky talked about it. We haven't seen the children for ages, he said. Let's slip down the tree, Silky, and make sure they got back all right, shall we? After all, it would be dreadful if they didn't get back and their mother was worried about them. One afternoon, just after lunch, Silky and Moonface and the Saucepan Man walked to the door of the cottage. Beth opened it and, stricken with delight, Moonface, so you got back safe after all. Come in. Dear Silky, Saucepan, you'll have to take off kettle or two if you want to get through the door. The children's parents were out for a while. The children were their friends. The children and their friends sat and talked about their last adventure. What land is at the top of the tree now? Said Rick curiously. I don't know, said Moonface. I'd like to come and see. No, thanks, said Joe at once. We're not going up there anymore. Well, come back and have a tea with us, said Moonface. Silky got some popcakes, and we've made them Google buns. I don't often make them, and I'll tell you they're a treat. Google buns, said Beth in astonishment. Whatever are they? You come and see, said Moonface, grinning. They're better than popcakes, ain't they, Silky? Much better, said Silky. Well, Fanny and I have finished our jobs. And Beth, what about you boys? We've got half an hour more work to do, that's all, said Joe. If everyone helps, it would take 10 minutes. We could leave a note for Mother and Father. I would love to try these Google buns. Everyone went into the garden to dig up the carrots and put them into a pile. It didn't take more than 10 minutes because they all worked so hard. They put away their tools, washed their hands, left a note for their parents, and then set off for the enchanted woods. Saucepan Man sang one of his ridiculous songs on the way. 2 tails for a kitten, 2 clouds for the sky, 2 pigeons for Christmas to make a plum pie. Everyone laughed. Joe, Beth and Fanny had heard the Saucepan Man's silly song before, but Rick didn't. Go on, said Rick. This is the silliest song I have ever heard. Saucepan Man crashed 2 kettles together and he sang. 2 roses for Beth, 2 coldings, sold, soldings, I don't know what that is, soldings for Joe, 2 ribbons for Fanny, with no hole hidden hole. Okay, I don't know what that means. It's an easy song to make up as long as you go. What? No. It's an easy song to make up as you go along, said Beth, giggling. Every line, but the last one to begin with the word 2. Just think of any nonsense you like, and the song simply makes itself. Singing silly songs, they all reached the faraway tree. Saucepan yelled up it. Hey, what's his name? Let down a rope. There's a good fellow. Let down the rope. There's a good fellow. It's too hot to walk up today. The rope came down, and they all went up one by one, pulling high by the strong arms of Mr. What's his name. Fanny was unlucky. She got splashed by Dame Washalot water on the way up. Next time I go up the rope, I shall take an umbrella with me, she said angrily. Come on, said Moonface. Come and eat a Google bun and see what you think. Soon they were all sitting on the board branches outside Moonface's house, eating popcakes and Google buns. The buns were very strange. They all had a very they all had a very large raisin in the middle, and it was filled with sherbet. So when they got to the raisin and bit it, the sherbet foamed out and filled their mouth with fine bubbles that tasted delicious. The children got a real surprise when they bit their raisins. Moonface almost fell off the branch with laughter. Come and see some new cushions I've got, he said to the children. They had all eaten as many cakes and buns as they could manage. Beth, Joe, and Fanny went into Moonface's funny round house. Moonface looked around for Rick, but he wasn't there. Where's Rick? He said. He's gone up the ladder to peep and see what land is at the top, said Silky. I told him not to. But he's quite a naughty boy, I think. Gosh, gosh, said Joe, running out of the house. Rick, come back, you silly. Come back, silly. No, wait, what did it say? Gosh, said Joe, running out of the house. Rick, come back, you silly. Everybody began to shout, Rick, Rick. But no answer came down the ladder. The big white cloud swirled above silently, and no one could imagine why Rick didn't come back. I'll go and see what's he doing, said Moonface. So up he went, and he didn't come back either. The old saucepan man went curiously up, step by step. He disappeared through the hole and didn't come back. Whatever has happened to them, said Joe in despair. Look here, girls. Get a rope out of Moonface's house and tie themselves and Silky to me. Then we'll go up the ladder, and if anyone tries to pull me into the land above, they won't be able to, because you three can pull me back. Okay? Right, said Beth. And she knotted the rope around her waist and Fanny's, and then round Silky too. Joe tied the upper end to himself. Then he went up. Then up the ladder he went. And before the girls knew what had happened, Joe was lifted into the land above. They were all dragged up too by their feet, stumbling somehow up the ladder through the hole in the clouds. There they all stood in a field of red poppies, with a tall man nearby, holding a sack over his shoulder. Is that the lot? He asked. Good. Well, here's something to make you sleep. He put his hands in the sack and scattered a handful of the finest sand over the surprised group. In a moment, they all were rubbing their eyes and yawning. This is the land of dreams, said Moonface sleepily. And that's the Sandman. Goodness, how sleepy I feel. Don't go to sleep, cried Silky, taking Moonface's arm and shaking him. If we do, we won't wake up and find that this land has moved away from the faraway tree. Come back down the hole, Moonface, and don't be silly. I'm so sleepy, said Moonface, and lay down among the red poppies. In no time he was snoring loudly, fast asleep. Get him to the hole, cried Silky. But Joe, Rick, and the saucepan man were all yawning and rubbing their eyes too. Sleepy, too sleepy to do a thing. Then Beth and Fanny slipped down quietly into the poppies and fell asleep too. At last, only Silky was left. Not much of the sleepy sand had gone onto her eyes, so she was wider awake than the rest. She stared at everyone in dismay. Oh dear, she said, I'll never get you down the hole myself. I'll have to get help. I must go and fetch what's his name and pick an angry pixie and Dame Wash-a-lot too. She ran off to the hole, slipped down the ladder through the clouds and slipped onto the broad branch below. What's his name? She cried. Miss Dame-a-Lot, angry pixie. After a minute or two, Joe woke up, rubbed his eyes, and sat up. Not far off, not far off, he saw something that pleased him. It was an ice cream seller. The man was ringing his bell loudly. "Hey, Moonface, wake up!" cried Joe. There is an ice cream man. Have you got any money?" Everyone woke up, and soon, now everyone woke up. Moonface felt in his money bag and then started in great surprise. It was full of marbles. Who put marbles there? He wondered. The ice cream man drove up. Marbles will do to pay for any ice cream," he said. So Moonface paid him 6 marbles. The man gave each a bag of dove off, ringing his bell. Moonface opened his bag, expecting to find a delicious ice cream there, but inside there was a big whistle. It was really odd. Everyone else had a whistle too. "How extraordinary," said Rick. "What is this the kind of thing that happens in dreams?" "Well, after all, this is Dreamland," said Beth. "I wonder if the whistles blow." She blew hers. It was very loud indeed. The others blew theirs too, and at once 6 policemen appeared nearby, running for all their worth. They rushed up to the children. "What's the matter?" they cried. You are blowing police whistles. What has happened? Do you need help?" "No," said Rick with a giggle. "Then you must come to the swimming pool," said the policeman, and to everyone's surprise, they were all led away. "Why the swimming pool?" said Fanny. "Listen, policeman, we haven't got swimsuits." Oh, you naughty storyteller," and the policeman nearest to her said the policeman nearest to her. Then to Beth's surprise, she found that she had a blue and white swimsuit, and the others had swimsuits too. They all came to the swimming pool, but there was no water in it at all. "Get in and swim," said the policeman. "There's no water," said Rick. "Don't be silly." And then suddenly all the policemen began to cry, and in no time the swimming pool was full of water of their tears. No, hold on, I just made up something there. Okay. All the policemen began to cry, and in no time the swimming pool was full of their tears. This sort of thing makes me funny. No, this sort of thing makes me feel funny, said John. "I don't want to swim in tears." Quick, everyone pushed the policeman into the pool. And in half a second, all the policemen were kicking Phoebe's into the pool of tears. As the children watched, they changed into blued fishes and swam away, flickering their tails. I feel as if I'm in a dream," said Rick. "So do I," said John. "I wish I could get out of it." "Oh, look, there's a plane coming down. Perhaps we could get into it and fly away." The plane, which was small and green, landed nearby. There was nobody in it. The children ran to it and got in. Joe pushed down the handle, marking up. Off we go, said Joe, and off they went. Oh, the end. Okay, so I wonder where they are going. So they're on a funny little land where all sorts of funny things are happening in the land of dreams. So they are off to another land. I wonder where they are off to. Silly little Rick. He has put them in another pickle. So they are off to another land, I think, or maybe not another land, but they are off somewhere different. And I hope Silky gets back to them safely. Okay, so this is the next chapter. Please do come in back next time and find out what happens to them, to all the friends in the next chapter. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you feel nice and calm today now, and I'll be back soon. Bye.